All right, everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. Today is October 15th. This is a long-awaited community call. I know there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that you've been waiting for us to go over. So today we're going to go over some of the things we've been working on, how we've been building out the protocol to be built tough for the long run, going over what we've been doing. Everyone's been asking on the regulation side of things, what we've been into, what we've been doing, launch dependencies and objectives remaining, what we're looking at for layer 2, the IVOL research we've been doing, some more info on our smart deposit router, all things Chainlink, and we're going to end on an analytics page and the cell function. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to DK. DK, go ahead and take it from here.
Thank you. Alrighty. So, thanks everyone for joining. It is with great pleasure that I can announce that we have officially joined forces with the group that we collaborated with to build out V2. You can see them, their avatars here. This dream team of big brains was solving for similar problems in the option space. However, they were in stealth. I won't bore you guys with all the details, but ultimately we decided that if we collaborate together instead of compete, we can build great epic things together in the DeFi space. This now brings the total full-time contributors to 17 across multiple different disciplines. We now have a fully functional web application team that includes UI UX, front-end, middleware, QA, blockchain engineering group, smart contracts testing, etc. An R&D group, algorithm design, product feasibility, economic impacts, variable and parameter tuning. And I would like to note that our ML talent that we have in this space has really set us apart from our competitors, and in my eyes, will continue to set us aside. It will continue to be the special sauce for us. And then last but not least, we have operations, which is HR, legal, marketing, and biz dev. Now, I'm not going to dive into these guys today, but our plan for the next community call is to do a get to know the team session, because the team has grown quite rapidly from 4 in February to what it is today. Look, a lot of you guys have been asking for the reason for the delay, and even though in tandem we've been continuing to build out enhancements and additional feature sets, the recent delay has been on the ops side. Now, between the IP developed together between the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, there's a need to get the protections right. Premia has taken the same approach as Uniswap in how to time-bound the protections of the smart contracts while still allowing other developers to integrate into our protocol. We are very proud of the IP that we've developed, and we want to make sure to protect the protocol in the event that there are any issues, one being a better funded marketed group were to copy the work that we've been working on and spent the last few months perfecting. With that said, the organizational structure of a group like Uniswap, in our eyes, is not ideal from a legal perspective, especially for the long term. So we wanted to best position the protocol for the next 5 to 10 years as future regulatory matters are still uncertain, and by putting the time in now, the protocol has its front foot forward for any potential issues, although unlikely in the future. All right, give me 1 second here, guys. Cool. All right, look, I think this slide lays everything out quite well. However, we still hold the Anon ethos very close to our heart. No one is truly Anon, and the gunslinging DeFi operators of the past is not the way forward. We've been spending significant time having these discussions with the brightest names in the space, and as such, we are doing what is necessary to ensure the longevity of the protocol, which is in the best interest of all the stakeholders. On another note, from our experience, a lot of the Anon ethos DeFi protocols are trying to figure this stuff out themselves, and the Premia Group hope to help guide them with what has been learned over the last few months and further strengthen partnerships across the space. And last, as was requested for transparency's sake, here's a little more into how the sausage is made. We work in a modified agile approach with our project, so everything is not exactly linearly dependent, but this gives a good flow of how we approach V2 in its entirety. And at this point, we are at the continuous descent on final approach. Flight attendants, please take your seats, and we'll get into more of this at the very end. Now over to Froggy, who's going to take you through what the elves have been working on in the toy factory.
Thank you, DK. First thing I'm going to go over is continue on our layer 2 research. We are zeroing in on a clear roadmap for the future of Layer 2. The technology is getting built and it is nearing the finish line. But we need to, before we move to side chains or Layer 2 with our current version 2 of a platform, we need to find out which side chains in Layer 2 is going to be the best for the Premia protocol. Our considerations here are EVM compatibility first and foremost, because we don't want to maintain multiple code bases for our contracts, as it seems it's not going to be necessary in this world as everyone is moving towards EVM compatibility. The next most important thing for our users is liquid bridges. This is because we want to ensure that our users can easily get from one chain to the next chain without having any issues or getting stuck with their liquidity on one chain and not being able to get it back to the main chain. So this is something we are actively considering when looking at next chains. Next most important thing is we need to ensure that they have a strong ecosystem vision, that they've got an idea for how they're going to grow, what they're doing next, next technology improvements, maybe how they're going to bring more liquidity to their platform, and that they've got great user platforms already built that we can start to add to with the Premia ecosystem. The next thing is liquidity mining and protocol fees. One thing we need to consider is how protocol fees will be accumulated to Premia stakers on multiple different chains. And the other thing is, because we are doing liquidity mining for our options pools to incentivize liquidity providers, this is something that we also are going to need to think about our plan for side chains and Layer 2s when we bring the protocol to different chains. How are we going to do liquidity mining and that kind of thing? So this is stuff that we're actively thinking on, we're actively building a plan for, and we'll bring proposals to the community for when we've finalized on a plan. And the last thing is we want an ecosystem that's going to support us. So it's very clear that there's a massive amount of competition in the sidechain and Layer 2 space moving forward. And so as such, we are looking for the most competitive landscape that we can be a part of, that we can add to, and that wants us to add to them. So if you think you know the answer, please come tell us. Come talk to us in Discord. We'd love to hear the community's viewpoints. Otherwise, we think we know the answer, and we'll present a snapshot vote pretty soon for you guys to vote on. Moving on to next steps, our research, specifically our implied volatility oracle and next steps. We have improved our current version of our implied volatility oracle to substantially improve the gas efficiency by about 50%. What this means is 50% less of the treasury will be spent on maintaining that oracle over time, and we can ensure that more protocol fees are saved to the treasury over time, ensuring higher profitability of the protocol. Other than this, we've partnered with Chainlink to bring out our implied volatility oracle, and I'll talk more about the Chainlink partnership later. We are continuing to work on the design of our implied volatility oracle. Going live with V2 will be implied volatility for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink options. It will be a full three-dimensional surface. However, we still are working on enabling implied volatility surfaces for assets that don't have existing markets outside of DeFi. For example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have markets on Deribit, on Bitcoin options, Binance options. So it's very easy to find existing surfaces and train against them. This doesn't exist for tokens, let's say, such as Premia with no existing options markets. So for those, we need to create more advanced methods for synthesizing these implied volatility surfaces, which we're happy to announce we'll be releasing very soon. Next steps for research is on Layer 2, we've been actively looking into combine peer-to-peer and peer-to-pool liquidities so that we could have a mechanism such as Premia V1 and Premia V2 combined into a single seamless liquidity architecture. So users could buy, sell, or underwrite pool how to their heart's desire, and it would all underwrite this. It would all be a part of the same underlying liquidity pool. We have a design for this, and we're actively working on it, bringing it to layer 2. Next, we are actively improving our C value, otherwise known as our liquidity sensitivity mechanism for pricing. Currently, it's one-dimensional per pool. However, we have figured out how we can improve it to be three-dimensional so that it does not only depend on the pool, but also on the strike and maturity of each option within the pool. So it is much more accurate to the options being traded. And we look forward to bringing more of this research to you in the coming weeks as we finalize next steps. The next thing that we've been working on, feature is called Smart Deposit Router. We will be bringing this to you with the launch of the V2 protocol. It will allow users to select the assets that they want to deposit into the pools, and then it will automatically recommend which pools the user should swap assets to and deposit into that pool from. And the optimization works to ensure that the user's assets are deposited into the pool. That will ensure the long-term system stability and performance of the user's capital based on the C value of the pools and the active liquidity in each pool at the time. Moving on to our Chainlink integration. We're happy to say that Chainlink has provided a whole suite of tools for us, and we're taking advantage of the whole shebang. Starting off with price feeds, there are quite a few other protocols in the space taking advantage of Chainlink price feeds. We are as well doing this at our pool level. It is necessary to ensure that we have the most accurate level of pricing possible at our pools. And so we will be moving forward with this. As well, we are using Chainlink Keepers. Our first use case will be going live with the V2 protocol, which will be using Keepers to collect the platform fees that are sent to the Premium Maker contract and transform them by swapping them to Premia token and sending them to the ex-Premia stakers. So that's an automatic action that will now be done by the Premia Keeper contract, every so often, whenever there's enough liquidity in the Premium Maker contract. Next is obviously the implied volatility oracle that I touched on earlier, but we'll be providing this oracle for all DeFi tokens in the future, but we're starting off with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. And this will work very similar to how Chainlink price feeds work, where we'll provide a contract that allows any user on the blockchain to query that contract and get the specific implied volatility for strike, maturity, and token combination. So it's a three-dimensional surface that represents the most accurate implied volatility representation that you can do. We're very happy to bring this to DeFi. It'll be free to use for anyone, just like Chainlink price feeds are. And we think this is going to be a great step to moving forward volatility in the DeFi space. Moving on to the analytics page and cell function, this is stuff that we are actively working on building on the platform and bringing after the launch of the V2. The first thing is analytics. If you're familiar with something like info.uniswap or analytics.sushi, we aim to provide a similar platform for Premia, where users can go. They can get an overview of all of the pools, all of the options being traded, all of the tokens underlying those options. They can go to a specific option on the analytics page and they can see what the price of that option over time has been. They can see all of the trades of that option. They can see the specific Greeks for that option, or they could go to the pool of that option and see more information about the pool, all of the active options being traded in that pool. So very similar to a Uniswap info style page, but for Premia options. The team is actively building that and should be coming in the coming weeks. So, leading on this, as we're patiently waiting and digesting all of the legal and regulatory advice that we're receiving, obviously our engineering doesn't stop. We're actively working on bringing you, our Dream Analytics page, as well as, solving the problem of selling. Going a little bit more into that, obviously, users on the platform, when they purchase an option, they can exercise it to take profit, but they currently can't sell it back to the pool. This is something that we're actively solving on layer 1, we think we have the full issue solved, and we are building a prototype. It should be coming in the coming weeks. And then we will have the community test it, get it fully audited, and added to the platform as soon as possible, following our standard release schedule. With all of that said, I'd like to hand things over to Coin to end things up.
Three, two, one, zero. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, I think I muted myself before I played that video, unfortunately. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for being understanding. We know it's been a long time with delays, but we're happy to announce that on November 1st is going to be our go live date. Like I said earlier, we're in the final descent right now and just getting everything ready, so it's one-click deploy. Now, with that said, stick around. We will be going to do the AMA in the main Discord room right now. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Or stay tuned, but closing the stream out now.